Your phone dies in the middle of the most important call of your life. Your laptop freezes seconds before you hit submit on a deadline that could change your career. The streetlights above you wink out, one after another, as you storm away from an argument. If this has happened to you more than once, you've probably kept it to yourself because the moment you tell someone, they smile politely or say, "Must be bad luck." But here's the strange thing. Thousands of people around the world are sharing your exact story. In the next 10 minutes, we're going to uncover the scientific research that proves your body is literally an electrical transmitter, why ancient cultures predicted this phenomenon centuries before we had the technology to measure it, the documented hospital cases where patients crashed medical equipment with their emotions, and the one simple test that can tell you if you're one of the electrically charged, plus what to do about it. Some call it energy overflow. Others call it bad juju. Science calls it the SLIDER phenomenon, streetlight interference. And whether you believe in energy, spirits, or pure physics, the patterns are becoming impossible to ignore. Search online, and you'll find forums absolutely full of people describing the same bizarre events. My mother visits, and suddenly my car breaks down. Electricity problems, plumbing, all within days. I affect electronics when I'm stressed, especially phones. I get static on every line I try to call. After a huge fight, she took the car and texted me it won't start. I guess this confirms it. And here's what's wild. It's not just streetlights. It's computers, TVs, watches, even hospital monitors. Some believe it's just coincidence amplified by attention. Others, including scientists and spiritual teachers, think it might be one of the last unexplored frontiers of human influence. Want to know what science has to say about this? First, the science we absolutely do know. Your body isn't just chemical. It's electrical. Every single heartbeat generates a magnetic field, the strongest rhythmic field your body produces. And get this, it's detectable several feet away with sensitive instruments. The HeartMath Institute has measured something fascinating. Your heart rhythm instantly shifts with emotion when you're calm. Smooth, coherent waves when you're stressed or angry. Jagged, chaotic spikes. Now, why does this matter? Because electronics run on stable, delicate flows of electricity, change the environment, even subtly, and they can behave unpredictably. But here's where it gets really interesting. The Princeton Engineering Anomalies Research, PEER, lab spent 28 years testing if human intention can influence machines in over 200 million trials. The data showed small but consistent deviations from pure randomness, especially during strong emotional focus. I think that's strange. Our ancestors knew about this long before we had laboratories. Long before science measured heart rhythms, cultures around the world had their own explanations. In India, yogic teachings describe prana, life energy, as expanding violently during rage or grief, influencing not just people, but the environment itself, while Mediterranean superstition warned that the evil eye wasn't always about envy. It was also believed that intense emotional energy could jinx machinery or crops. Even today, spiritual healers talk about energy spikes, sudden surges in the human field, as both a gift and a hazard. This phenomenon has even entered modern storytelling. Science fiction writer Philip K. Dick referenced Pauli's Synchronicity in his 1963 novel, The Game Players of Titan, describing it as a causal connective event where psychic abilities interfere with technology. Japanese anime has embraced this concept too. In Yu-Gi-Oh! Sevens, a character can randomly cause phones and drones to malfunction with his hands, and the show explicitly calls it the Pauli Effect. Even the TV series Babylon 5 referenced this phenomenon, suggesting that some people just seem to attract technological chaos. But wait until you hear about the patterns. The patterns you can't unsee. Here's where the mystery truly deepens. People who experience this often notice clusters of events, and this is what skeptics can't explain. It's not just one light going out, it's 3 in a row, right as your anger peaks. It's not just a computer crash. It's the same glitch happening to 3 devices on the same day, all in your hands. Carl Jung would call this synchronicity. Meaningful coincidences that feel too precise to be random. And here's the kicker. They happen during emotionally charged moments, breakups, grief, heated arguments, extreme anxiety. Maybe the machines aren't reacting to you. Maybe reality itself is. So how could this actually work? First, Electromagnetic interference. Your body naturally creates electromagnetic fields. Think of them as invisible waves of energy. When you're emotional, these waves get stronger and more chaotic. Modern electronics are incredibly sensitive, running on tiny amounts of electricity. Your amplified energy field can literally interfere with their delicate circuits, like static on a radio when you drive under power lines. Second, static buildup. Here's something wild. When you're stressed, your skin becomes more electrically conductive. This means you build up static electricity much faster than normal. That little shock you get from a doorknob? Scale it down to microscopic levels, and it's enough to instantly fry the tiny processors inside your phone or laptop. Third, frequency matching. Every electronic device vibrates at its own specific frequency. Like a musical note only machines can hear. In rare cases, your body's electrical field can shift to match that exact frequency. When this happens, it creates what engineers call destructive interference. Like an opera singer hitting the precise high note that shatters a wine glass, except it's your nervous system hitting the note that crashes your computer. Fourth, bioelectric amplification. Some people are just naturally more electrically active than others. Their bodies produce stronger bioelectric signals. During emotional peaks, these already powerful signals can spike way beyond normal levels, affecting electronics in ways that wouldn't happen with typical human electrical output. But perhaps the most famous case comes from the world of physics itself. Austrian physicist Wolfgang Pauli became so notorious for breaking equipment that fellow scientists coined the term Pauli Effect, the supposed tendency of technical equipment to encounter critical failure in the presence of certain people. Experimental physicist Otto Stern actually banned Pauli from his Hamburg laboratory despite their friendship, for fear of the Pauli effect. And here's the strangest part. An expensive measuring device at the University of Göttingen suddenly stopped working, when Pauli wasn't even there, but it turned out he had been switching trains at the Göttingen rail station at the exact time of the failure. The Pauli effect became so well known that other physicists began documenting their own experiences. George Gamow reported in his book, 30 Years That Shook Physics, that the more talented the theoretical physicist, the stronger the effect, and physicist R. Peierls described a case where colleagues tried to parody the effect by deliberately crashing a chandelier when Pauli entered the room. But the chandelier got stuck instead, becoming a real example of the very phenomenon they were mocking. This isn't just internet stories. Real institutions have recorded this. Hospitals have reports of patient distress coinciding with ECG or monitor glitches that stop once the patient calms down, a woman whose office computers failed repeatedly. Mostly during high-stress days, the Peer Lab found statistical imprints in random number generators during mass emotional events like major tragedies. Of course, not everyone thinks it's just physics. The other theories, some explanations lie way outside the realm of physics textbooks. Aura disruption is when healers say emotions distort the aura. Aura, causing instability in nearby systems. Spirits or guides are seen in paranormal circles as causing surges in electronics, either as protection or warning from unseen presences. Curses and bindings are when folk magicians might say your energy is spilling because of an unresolved tie or hex. You don't have to believe these. But for those experiencing it, the explanations can be strangely comforting. But why only certain people? Not everyone walks around frying streetlights. People who do often share certain traits like highly sensitive nervous systems, history of trauma, lightning strikes, or intense life events, strong empathic or intuitive tendencies, and even physical factors like high iron levels or electrolyte balance. Even Pauli himself was convinced the effect was real and corresponded with Carl Jung about synchronicity, proving that even brilliant scientists can be electrically charged individuals. Some report it's not just them. Family members notice the pattern too, like when certain people visit. Suddenly cars won't start, appliances break, and plumbing fails, all within days of each other. As if some people carry an invisible field of technological disruption wherever they go. It's as if some people are walking amplifiers. Their emotional states literally become environmental states. Which brings us to the real question. So, is it science? Spirit? Coincidence? Maybe it's all three, but here's what no one talks about. And this is the revelation that changes everything. The people who experience cell-lighter phenomena consistently, they're not just passive victims of their own electrical chaos. They can learn to control it. The same physicist whose presence could crash cyclotrons and break measuring devices from train stations away ultimately understood something profound about human technology interaction. Dr. William Tiller at Stanford discovered that trained meditators could consciously influence electronic devices through focused intention. The same emotional energy that fries your phone when you're angry. It can be redirected, channeled, even amplified for positive effects. Here's your simple test. Next time you feel that surge of intense emotion, before you blow another fuse, try this. Place your hands on your heart, breathe deeply for 30 seconds, and consciously pull your energy inward. Many S-Lighters report that this one technique stops 80% of their electronic incidents. You're not cursed, you're not broken, you're gifted with a sensitivity that most people will never experience. And whether you explain it with lab data or folklore, you're living proof that consciousness, emotion, and technology are far more connected than we've been taught. So the next time the lights flicker when you walk in, don't just chalk it up to bad wiring. It might be you, and that's not something to fear, it's something to master. Because once you understand your electrical signature, you don't just stop breaking things, you start influencing them intentionally.